why don't we start with what you do and what you're passionate about with the thing that you do. Yeah.
So I was asked, what's your job?
Yeah.
What do you do?
Uh-huh.
And I think most people in the professional setting will say that, oh, you're a counselor. With that hat, they had comes expectations. What do you do as a counselor? Yep. So people will say, oh, you sit in a room and you talk to people.
Yep.
But it just happened when I responded to that question, and I said, part of my job is to be a counselor. And I think even though if I'm hired as a counselor, I work with youth, young adults and youth. I don't see myself only as a counselor. I see myself as somebody who has the training, who is able to journey with people.
Journey with people.
Yes. So
that's deep.
Yes, I mean, I think what I realized is with time, with the years that I've worked with quite a large number of young people, I realized that it takes more than just being a counselor to bring about change in people who come to me. I think they need to see somebody who's genuinely there and willing to say, you know what, we are going to walk this journey together for the period of time given to us. And I think now whenever I start, I see a student for the first time, or I see a young adult coming to me, and that's the first thing that I say. I say, thank you very much for coming, for being brave enough to take that step forward. But what I will do from my end is to journey with you.
Wow.
And I think I do not say I will counsel you. I don't see myself as somebody who fixes people. I don't fix people. But what I do is I journey with them, experience whatever they're going through together with them. And with the training that I have, help them make sense.
Right. So you're going beyond the scope of the profession of a counselor. You're pouring yourself into it. That's dangerous because you would, emotionally you would be involved.
Yes. Once you journey with somebody, you can't be detached.
Yeah.
You have to be involved. You have to be present. You have to emotionally invest yourself. But I think the difference is that when I stepped into that role, it is a conscious decision.
Yeah.
It's not just saying I'm putting myself there and I don't even know why I'm there. I am very clear about journeying with that person, and that allows me to experience what they're going through, while at the same time telling myself that belongs to them. But
so you'll still be able to detach yourself.
You have to.
Yeah.
And like you said, Vera, if you can't make that detachment, you get too immersed in it, you're not helpful. You don't become helpful to that person, because if they have blind spots, their blind spots become your blind spot.
Because as good as your family is, your parents are, and a listening ear, they are emotionally involved.
Yes.
As a result, they are not effective.
I would say they can be effective, but they may not be as objective.
Absolutely.
So there will be too many other things coming in. I take my position as I am still a professional. It's a professional journey with somebody, but I add in the element of, I like to call it the human aspect.
Right, I was going to say that word,
Yeah, I think that's what I feel.
And by choice, you say?
For me, it's by choice. It's not something that is expected of me. The profession does not state anywhere that, but you have to do this and this. But to me, I feel the impact is greater. You can bring about change in someone's life when you're just being human.
Because when I go and see a doctor, they can be very professional but unempathetic.
That's right.
You don't
the
feel
connection
anything.
is not there.
But then, in order for them to journey through very quickly from one patient to another, they can't be emotionally involved.
Yes.
Well, they choose not to.
Yes.
Because it would be too difficult.
It can become a protective mechanism, because imagine if, like you said, a doctor gets involved with every patient and the load is heavy. If they have, it's not impossible. First, you need to have the time. Two, you need to have that consciousness in your mind to say that I am going to step in there.
Right.
But once my next patient come in, I am going to be in a different space with that next patient. So that consciousness.
So how do you switch off?
You can't switch off totally. I mean, in the cases that I've worked with, there are some that stick. Right. So particularly those that
because you're human.
I'm human as much as my students and my clients are. But then more so when whatever they bring, it may not be the actual circumstances, but it could be the emotional experience can connect with something in me. Yeah. So it sticks. Yeah. But that's the beauty of the work that we do, and that's the beauty of being human.
How important is listening a skill?
Oh, well, I would say if there's a skill that is so lacking in this world,
for what you do especially,
and for the work that I do, it's
everything.
It's the skill to have, but I think there's no point being able to listen if we don't connect.
Right.
I can listen. I can say I've heard you,
and you doze off,
and I'm not really hearing you.
Right.
I think is a skill that is not taught to people who are in the helping profession is to really hear what is not said.
Right.
So you can listen, I can listen to you based on the questions you're asking me, the words, I can listen, but I can also listen based on body language. Right. I can listen based on emotions. Right. So listening has many layers.
So and 5 senses needs to be.
All when I step in a session, when I step with somebody, I am fully engaged. It's everything.
By the time I finish an interview, even if it's half an hour, I'll be emotionally drained. And I'm quite sure you will feel the same after each session. How do you train yourself to be to have a stamina to go on 8 hours a day, to listen in, to
day in, day out? Yes. There are two main things. I think if I talk purely about the profession, there's this thing that we call emotional hygiene.
Right.
So we got to be able to acknowledge and say whatever I'm experiencing now belongs to the person that I've spoken to. We go to our supervisors and process, in a safe environment. Right. We say, okay, I had this case and I had this person that I've spoken to, and it's very intense, and I got to ask my supervisor to help me make sense of what's going on. But I think the second thing, which is, in my opinion, even more important, is myself to experience the journey of introspection.
Wow.
Because if I can't put myself in my client's shoes. So instead of saying, I am the person with the knowledge and I know everything and I can fix you, or I can figure you out, but trying to say, okay, I am going to put myself in the client's shoes. So empathy is important, but actually it's myself going through my own counseling. I think it's important.
Wow.
And it's just so important because the insights that I get about myself allows me to be more resilient. When someone comes to me and says, there's this whole ball of emotions and issues and everything, and if I have my own baggage, yes, it gets mixed up, and I will not be able.
So you have to fix yourself first. You have to
I have to have a lot of insights about myself. I have to know, for example, where are my trigger points. I have to know what kind of situation I've experienced, because we all have life experiences. And life experiences sometimes make us more attuned to certain events, to certain emotions. And I need to be able to know if, let's say, someone in front of me is angry, and I get angry, where does my anger comes from? It may not be the same as that person in front of me. But if I don't have that insight, then I get overwhelmed.
Well, I interviewed someone on the subject of EQ. It sounds like you need to go through some high EQ training in order to do what you do.
I mean, emotions are really the most complex. I'll call it gifts that we have as human beings, and there are no two persons who use their emotions the same way, and or who experience emotions the same way.
Wow,
Someone,
that makes your job so difficult.
Yes, I mean,
so intuitive as well.
It has to be.
There's no textbook for it, is it?
It's interesting you use the word intuitive because this is exactly how I would say I see myself is to be not only I have the technical or concrete knowledge and I can go through all the training, but I don't have that intuition in terms of like I can feel, I can connect with what is not said, and that is something that you can't be taught. It's just a personal journey that you have to put yourself in and say, I am going to explore myself.
So you have to live through life. An effective counselor should not be too young because they have not gone through life.
Chronologically, if you talk about age, I've seen some of my clients who are 17 years old or even 15 having so much more insight about life than myself.
No way.
I'll give you an example.
No.
I mean, it can happen, and I'm always amazed because we have a range of experiences, but we don't have all the experiences of life.
Right.
So I see myself as being someone who always learns something from my clients as well. They go through something, they experience something which may not be my experience, and I'm always having this curiosity, but also being in awe. And I ask myself, would I be able to do what they did if I went through the same thing?
Or
how would I?
To ask, isn't it?
Yes. And that's by asking those questions and by being curious. On the one hand, the person feels like you're interested. Yeah. You really want to hear what my life journey is about.
Everyone that I know will want to talk to Shaun. Yeah. We will talk about the word gift.
Yes.
Yeah, you have the gift of, I don't know, is that charisma or is that the ear or
I think
people want to pour themselves to you?
It's a gift, but it has to be well used. Let's put it this way. I think
after you live for 3 months, someone will be saying, that is what John said.
Well,
my favorite uncle always say that.
Yes,
my auntie.
Yes. I think that connection. I think when I see people, I see human beings.
Right.
Maybe it's my own upbringing, having grown up in an environment where I was literally blind to race,
right,
to religion. I didn't have this concept of segregation based on those things.
Right.
Culturally as well. I mean, I would go and celebrate, for example, Deepavali, and I would celebrate Chinese New Year. I don't come in with that sense of I am far from another person.
You're colorblind. You're race blind. Yeah.
But yet, at the same time, I got to be aware of it because when I step into counseling, if I were totally blind to those things, I could be unconsciously discriminating the person in front of me. So I had to train myself to be
to see from both sides. Yeah.
Yes. So if someone comes in with a cultural background, or it could be some values and belief system, I have to be able to embrace that and withhold judgment, and not allow that to cloud my interaction with them.